there have been, starting with Stuart Chase's book in 1938, The Tyranny of Words, there have been many books that have been written to try to explain Korzybski's system or some aspect of his work, or to apply it in various different fields. And I personally think that our book is probably the best short exposition of Korzybski's system as a whole, that it has enough direction, and that we have exercises at the end of each chapter so people can either work alone or get together in study groups, and if they want to, or with a partner, and do some of these exercises and begin to apply some of the things that we're presenting there. And of course, I mean, I don't want to, I've talked a lot about tradition, but I don't want to give the impression that, Korzybski said it all. Anybody who reads the biography will see that as much as I admire Korzybski, and I have great sympathy for his work, obviously, I wasn't intending to shine his halo, so to speak. He was not a saint, although he was a very admirable human being in many ways. And I think I would have liked to have met him, and I think it would have been a friendly relationship, but who knows? Anyhow, that's Drive Yourself Sane.
So how has Korzybski helped your life, aside from as an intellectual interest?
Yeah, well, I think for many years in my younger days, that intellectual interest was probably one of the big things that was driving me. But the thing that I'm most grateful for is the way that gradually over the years I've been able to internalize a lot of the methodology, so to speak, for myself. I'll give you an example. I live in a condominium in Pasadena, and we're in a first-floor unit. We have 2 units above us that are basically, they're stacked up above us, so they have a number of floors. I think the unit, they have like an attic or a kind of a den area, and then a top floor, and then a bottom floor. And there's 2 of those units. And one morning, I think it was 2004, I think it was July 4th, actually. I'm sitting in my office doing some writing, and I begin to hear this water pipes from the bathroom overhead, and there was a bathroom and a washroom or a laundry room that they had over my office. And I start to hear the pipes, the water in the pipes. I mean, there's no sound insulation here to speak of, so you could hear that. But the sound was a little bit longer and a little bit louder than I was used to hearing. And then all of a sudden, I look into the front hallway from my office, and I see water dripping down from the light fixture. And then I turn around, and then there's a waterfall. There's literally, I have a window that my desk looks out onto a little garden patch. And there was literally a waterfall going inside the window and down to the window ledge. Just the waterfall was gushing down. So I start to grab rags and blankets and whatnot, try to sop up some of the stuff, and ran upstairs. And the woman had left her bathtub running for the baby. She was going to give it a bath, and this and that and the other thing, and she forgot about it, and they were flooded. So we had to replace that whole ceiling. It was a mess, a real mess. Subsequently, we get everything's fixed up. We have a new ceiling. Still no sound insulation to speak of. And whenever she did the laundry, or whenever she ran the bath water, and I heard that water flowing through the pipe again, I would start to tense up. And it wasn't even something that I was real conscious of. I would start to feel miserable and run all these scenarios. And I gradually came to realize that I was having some, what they call post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then I began to observe myself a little bit and what I was doing with my shoulders and how I was breathing, and perhaps more importantly, what I was telling myself when I heard those sounds, what I was imagining. And that's harder to really grasp onto your own thoughts after you've thought them, is kind of difficult at times. But, that's the kind of thing that Albert Ellis is dealing with and other people are dealing with. And that's what Korzybski was dealing with. And I had to deal with it. So I started looking and I was basically running that scene from July 4th, 2004 in my head whenever I heard the water running. And I decided that I was going to use one of the very basic techniques that Korzybski suggested, that you date your terms, you date your sentences. So I hear the water running July 4th, 2011, meant on July 4th, 2011, that I was soon going to be experiencing a major flood from the ceiling. And hearing the water running on December 4th, 2004, meant that I hear the water running. And it's December 4th, 2011 is not July 4th, 2000. I said 2011. Hearing the water running on December 4th, 2004 is not hearing the water running on July 4th, 2004, when that original event happened. And I had to work on myself for she did a lot of laundry. So the water was running a lot, and I was getting stressed a lot. And I had to work on myself probably about a week before I could really feel like I had gotten to a different place, and I was no longer getting tense and gasping and holding my breath, whatever it was that I was doing, and feeling upset and like I have nowhere to run or nothing to do except to take whatever was going to happen. Because basically I'd been running that movie over and over. That's what apparently happens with what they call post-traumatic stress. And that, I think, it was probably a minor case. But I was able to deal with it and basically reform my reactions simply by becoming aware of what I was doing and then changing what I was saying to myself over a period of a number of days. So that's to give you a rather concrete, if lengthy, example of how you can use this stuff. And I've used it over the years, and it's helped me to maintain a certain level of sanity that I'm not sure I would have been able to attain any other way. But there are many ways.
So do your friends, whenever they get mad at you, do they say, well, what would Korzybski say about what you're saying or doing or thinking right now?
That's one of the things that people say that really make me mad. No. No, I don't really think. I've probably heard that occasionally, but, I don't really get that much.
You'd make Korzybski cry.
Oh, yeah. There was somebody who wrote a review. I wrote a book called Dare to Inquire, which was is a little bit more, I wouldn't necessarily say even more advanced than Drive Yourself Sane, but it was more of a survey book going into some of the historical background of things that probably led to Korzybski doing his thing. The book was called Dare to Inquire. That came out in 2000. I'm not sure when it came out, 2003, 2002. At any rate, the book